But before doing that, we decided to go on foot, to go to range and want to find out as to when does the child see the child or what happened to the child. To ons daar op dag as almal toe die voertuig uit. Ons sou nog een Kelly en ander so verder dat we die vorms so twee en ons te kan. Ons is te voet na Rentje toe op ek om te gaan uitvind wat van die kind geword het op dat of as die nog kennis kan kry.
So you proceeded to Renz's place on foot. Where was your vehicle parked?
Kuba bengamamelwane noko imoto yayikhanyise nje izibane endlini kaKelly nekaRencia yayingakudanga bengamamelwane.
Since they were neighbors, the vehicle's lights were fixed onto Kelly's house and onto Rencia's house. Since they were neighbors, they were not far from each other. Toe ons in die voertuig kom aangesien hulle nog hier was die voertuig se ligtige flits op. Kelly se huis en op Rencia se want hulle was van ver van mekaar.
What happened when you got to that place?
Siye sanqonqoza ukufika kwethu kwaphendula ilizwi lendoda libuza uba singobani sizichazile uba singamapolisa.
We knocked, my lord, and then a person with a man's voice asked us to who we are, and then we told them that we were the police. Ons het toegeklop en 'n man is persoonlik geantwoord en vra wie ons was. Ons antwoord was toe gewees ons is die polisie.
Yes.
Uye wathetha ke ngaphakathi endumzela ekhalaza into yoba amapolisa afuna ntoni endlini yakhe. Deske wabe kanti uyavula ke samxelela into yobana ngaba sinesicelo sokuthetha nesinqanda amathe sakhe esingoRentia.
Whilst inside the house without opening, my lord, we could pick up that the person inside was not happy with the visit of the police. But he eventually opened. And when he opened, my lord, and then we said to him, wanted to speak to his girlfriend, Renshi. Toe ons daar op dag, word het voorkom hier of die persoon bij gelukkig was met die aankomst van de politie bezig. Hoor nie? Maar ek eindelijk toe opgemaak, ons het toe van aan, nie gedeel ons met sy girlfriend praat met naam van Renshi.
Proceed.
Emveni koko ukuba sivulelwe uye wathetha intombi ivela ngakwigumbi lokulala yasondela ngakuthi sayibuza into yobana ngaba inguRentia na yavuma uba inguRentia ngokwenene.
Now that after the door was opened, then a lady came from the area where the bedroom would have been, or the bedroom was, talking towards us. And then we wanted to know from the person, are you Rencia? Then she confirmed. Nadat ons toe 'n huis in was, het 'n persoon, 'n dame persoon van 'n rigting van die slaapkamer sou wees, aangekom praat, ons vra te vra of sy Rencia was.
Yes.
Emveni koko siye sambuza into yobana ngaba uyamazi na umntana onguJoslin kwaye umgqibeleni nana ucacisile into yoba ngaba emini ebehleli kwindlu kaKelly kunye nabahlobo bakhe abantwana nabo bebekhona bedlala phandle.
Ons het gevra of sy enige kennis dra van waar Joslin sou wees, ken sy die Joslin? Sy sê toe ja, want gedurende dag as sy by Joslin was by Kelly se huis, en geselskap van die ander, waar die kinders met Joslin bezig gespeel het. After that, they wanted to know from me, does she know Joslin? She said yes. She was at Kelly's house. And during the course of the day, they were there and the children playing outside.
Proceed.
Emva koloba esiphendulile simbuzile into yoba umntana ugqibele nombona, waphendula ngelithi kuba bebehleli phaa uye wacela yena Rensia ecela umntana lo nguJoslin uba ucela ayomjongela umntana wakhe oleleyo endlini yakhe. Baphumile ngenene behamba nabanye ootshomi bakhe uJoslin bebathathu besiya kwindlu kaRensia.
After that, he wanted to know from here as to when he asked me to see Joslin. Though she said that, my lord, whilst they were seated at the house of Kelly, then Joslin and some other 2 kids, she called them and sent them to go to look at the child. And then Joslin and the other kids left. Now that on the toepak gevra wanneer as ek vir Joslin gesin het, het sy gesê sy het vir Joslin en nog ander 2 kinders geroep en vir te gevra om na kind te gaan kyk wat geslaap het.
Yes.
Uthe ke xa ecacisayo uRensia lo umgqibele ngoko abantwana bebeye endlini yakhe kangoba ambone xa ebuya kangaphinde ambone emva kwemini.
She said, my lord, she last saw Joslin and others going to a house. She never saw Joslin in the afternoon after that. Sy sê toe verder dat sy vir Joslin as die kinders nou op pad na huis toe was en nie weer die kind na het gesien.
What happened next?
Kwenze die kinderen behoor.
Emveni koko siye saqhubekeka ke ngoku nomsebenzi wokubhala amaphepha lawo wasemapoliseni wokulahleka komntwana.
We proceeded now with our police work to fill in the forms about information about the missing child. Ons het ook voortgegaan met onze dienst as polisie, ons het die vorm voltooid in verband met die vermiste kind.
So after questioning Rens, did you then conclude your business there and go back, or did you fill out the forms at Rens' place?
Emva kokuba ke ngiyonithetha Rens ngaba ndethethayo, ingaba ngibuyela kubenziwa khona okanye ii-forms ezigcwaliswe phaa kwaRens.
Emva kokuba sithethile noRens siye saphinda ngeenyawo kwisithuthi eso samapolisa kufutshane nendlu kaKelly.
After we spoke to Rens, we went back to the vehicle where it was parked, the police vehicle. Nadat ons toe met de Rens gepraat het, is ons terug naar die politievoertuig waar het parkeer was.
Was there ever any engagement between Rens and Ms. Smith?
Ingaba ibe khona into phakathi kuthethiswano okanye into phakathi kwaRensia noMiss Smith.
Babe nayo incoko ababenayo kodwa yayingabonakalisi buzaza ngohlobo lonto yobana ngabe babengalwi, babebuzana nje imibuzo xa ndicinga kodwa babethetha ulwimi le-Afrikaans.
There was a conversation between of them, but not an intense one because there was no like as if they were fighting. Although I can't make out what the conversation was about, but because we're speaking Afrikaans. Daar was gesprekke in die twee gewees, alhoewel het nie voorkom het as hulle so bekleed nie, want het is so voorkom nie, maar het in Afrikaans gepraat.
And between anybody else, was there any interaction or engagement between Rens and any of the other people? Or between Ayanda and any of the other people?
Ngaphandle ke kumenself okay. Abanye abo bebephayana, ingaba ikhona inqubo phakathi kwaRensia nabo okanye Ayanda nabanye abo.
Ewe kunjalo my lord.
Yes, there was, my lord.
Please tell the court.
Khawuchazele inkunzi.
Emva kwento yoba uRensia simcele into yoba makaphume phandle esicacisela ngento eyenzekileyo emini, uAyanda umnikazi wendlu besikuye waba nengxaki kunye noBhuta noNilo kuba kutheni bezisa amapolisa endlini yakhe ngobusuku.
After we had a conversation and explanation from Rensia, then Bhuta, the owner of the house, came and showed Ayanda, the owner, thank you, ma'am. Ayanda, the owner of the house, my lord, showed that he was not happy
So
about the police visiting his house at night.
I just want to make sure I got it right. You said after you got the explanation from Renz, then Ayanda expressed his discontentment with the police's presence there.
Emva kokuba ke nithethe noRenchiya, kungoko Ayanda waveza khona ungayithandi ukuba amapolisa zikuyini yakhe.
Ewe kunjalo my lord.
That's correct, you got me right. Nadat ons met Renchiya gepraat oor haar verdediging, het Ayanda bewys hy was te gelukkig met die polisie se teenwoordigheid is hy sien aan.
And who did he have this engagement with?
Leyo ba ayithandanga for amapolisa bakhe nakhe bethethela bepitsa bani.
Ebebhekise kubhuta kakhulukazi ebebhekise kubhuta nangona no Nico ebekhona.
This was more a conversation towards Buddha, even though Milo was also present. Dit was meer 'n gesprek na Buddha, alhoewel Milo ook daar was.
Very well. So then you say you go back and you started filling out the documentation, correct?
Uthi ke sibuyele emotweni yethu sakhupha ke amaqoqo ke amaphepha.
Ewe kunjalo my lord.
Yes, that's correct.
Now we know from your colleague, Constable Gongota, he filled out the SAP 55 form. What did you do?
Sisisazi ngoba ubungqina bo-Constable Gongota yena ke iqhuba jobisa le-SAPS 55 funa ukona kumthuthisi wena ulwakusenza wenza ntoni wena.
Owam umsebenzi ndaye ndacela ukheli umama womntana lo ulahlekileyo ndathatha ezakhe iinkcukacha ndaqhubekeka ndavulela ityala.
My job was to speak to the mother of the missing child, get information. Maybe I was geweest om met die ma van Mr. Kind te praat om haar besonderhede te kry.
And then?
Wat sien jy?
Ndaye ndamcela into yoba maka ndibhalele amagama wakhe apheleleyo nefani yakhe ne-ID yakhe kuba ndandisonqena into yobana ngaba ndizawusokola kwicala lesipelling. Wandenzela njalo ke ndaqala ndabhala ndamvulela idokethi elipheleleyo lokulahla komntana wakhe.
My request to him was for him to write down a correct names and surname in order for me not to make a mistake as far as the spelling was concerned. She gave me the information, my lord. And after that, I opened the docket. Nadat met haar gepraat het, het ek gevra om my besonderhede te gee in een regte vorm, want ek wil vir my op enige probleme te maak met die spelfoute. Sy het dit gedoen en ek het tot sien geopen.
Did Ms. Smith make a statement that you noted and in fact commissioned?
Ngaba ikhona istatement esenzayo ke yena uNansika uSmith wena wasi-commissioner?
Ewe kunjalo my lord.
Yes, there is, my lord.
Very well.
Is verklaring wat deur mevrou Smith aan die gegee was wat ek toe beëdig het.
Very well. My lord, may I please have you to hand the original to the witness to confirm if this was indeed the statement that he took from Ms. Smith and commissioned.
Oh, it's Mr. Sidnery. I'm sorry. Mr. Sidnery, the statement was made in a capacity as a witness at the time. Do you have any objections to the statement being continued? Thank you.
Thank you, my lord.
You may proceed.
Have a look at it. Can you tell us firstly, is that your handwriting?
Ndifuna ukujongisise ke istatement ngasona kokuqala ngabhala.
Ewe kunjalo my lord.
It is my handwriting, my lord. Die verklaring is in Nederlands geskryf.
How many pages is it?
Amaphepha mangaphi? Malunga ukanye statement is
mabini my lord.
2 pages, my lord. As 2 bladsye.
And on the second page, at the back, please describe to the court what appears.
Iphepha ke lesibili ngemva baxelisele inkundla lona velapho.
I-commission stamp.
It's a commission stamp, my lord.
Is it correct that your signature appears as the commissioning officer?
Ewe kunjalo my lord.
Yes, that's correct, my lord. Op die achterkant is daar een stempel. As van de beëdigde, is de beëdigde klaar een stempel wat ek self beëdig het.
The information and the contents of the statement, who was the source of this information?
Le nto ibhalwe apha, umthamo wayo ibhalwe apha. Loo nto ifumana kubani bethetha ngale nto ibhalwe apha phantsi.
Yayingumama womntana uKelly.
It was the source of the mother of the child, Kelly. Die bron van die informatie aan de oorgedragen en gedaan met die inhoud van de verklaring was de moeder van die kind, Kelly.
I'm going to ask you to read this contents into, or read it for the purpose of the record.
Ngizawucela ukufunde ngibhalileyo phansi ihlala zwami.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a copy, that's ours, and I'm going to ask you to hand the original to his lordship.
So sebenzisa ke elithi elinye sanizela senkundleni ibanga yini.
Unfortunately not, my lord. I only have the handwritten, but I can assure you his handwriting is very neat.
Matters go on appeal, and you have to reproduce it. A lot of copies are being made, and then it's much easier to read after the third or fourth copy. It's made there. Just we take note of it as we go along. If at all it becomes matters that will be controversial at a later stage, so that we have a copy available. So it's attached to the exhibit, and it forms part of the exhibit bundle. Thank you. I shall then mark this as exhibit C, and you may proceed.
Start right at the top.
Ngaqala apha ngentamphela zwami into ibhalileyo.
This is Saldanha case 24 of 2/2023.
Saldanha
Saldanha case 24.
Saldanha sa 24 3 van
2
jaar
of 2024.
2 van die jaar 2024.
I submit a request.
Indeed, yes.
Because if this all happened on the 20th of February at 01:10, then it's unlikely that this witness would have written in the Saldanha CAS number, because that only came into being in March. And we know that the inquiry from the previous witness, that number was allocated the next day. And somebody wrote it in, but they made a mistake on the first page, because the first page says Saldanha Inquiry 05, I take it is. It's 04 of 2024. It's impossible. And the second page has Saldanha Inquiry 0502 of 2024. So maybe just check with the witness whether he has anything to do with that. Then we go to the contents. Thank you.
Saldanha inquiry, and there's a number there, 0504-2024. You usually write that there, is that correct?
Apha ngenhlobo yaqaphela ubhalo phaya eSaldanha inquiry amanani abhalwe 0504-2024 ngibona lapha.
hayi ndibanga ubhale bangalo.
I was not the one writing that, my lord.
And then below is Saldanha CAS 2403-2024. Not write that as well?
Ngezansi balapho ke ubhalo Saldanha case 2402-2025 engibona lokho balapho.
hayi ndibanga my lord.
I was not the person who wrote that as well, my lord.
So if we understand it correctly, your noting of the statement commenced at paragraph 1.
Lilonke xa sobhaka kuhle kubhaleni kakho engcelele uqala phambi paragraph oqala.
ewe kunjalo my lord.
That's correct, my lord. Die verklaring waarmee wat heel bo staan, maar 4 van die proces wat ek aangebring ook nie die kant en die kerstnommer 22403 van 24. Ek begin by paragraaf 1 om neer te skryf op hierdie verklaring.
Thank you. You can proceed.
On the first page, there's an A1, and there's a 1 in brackets, and there's an A2. We know the A2, that was part of the police document. Let me check who did that, whether the witness was responsible for the A1 and the 1 and the 2, or whether it was somebody else.
I will do so, my lord. Mr. Kubise, on the top right corner, those references that are made A1, A2, you didn't write those in, isn't that correct?
Apha ke ngiserayithi ngenhla kukhona A1 phaya no 1 article brackets A2 engibhala zona.
hayi ndim my lord.
I was not the one writing that note as well. En in en Rakis is hier en Akis was hier neergeskryf.
There's also, right at the top, in brackets 1, and on the second page, there's a bracket with 2. Did you write that in?
Apa ke die verlokale 1 of the brackets lo bhala pha.
ewe kunjalo my lord.
That's correct.
Very well. Can we then start at paragraph, sorry my lord? I'm sorry, I thought the court wanted to.
So, I don't think it would be contentious, but you never know in criminal trials.
Very well. Mr. Kubise, can you start at paragraph 1?
Qala ke paragraph 1 kokufuna mhla as well.
I, Smith Rickwell Kelly, state under oath in English.
Ek Smith Rickwell Kelly
Chantel.
ek Rickwell Chantel verklaar maar eet in Engels.
Paragraph 2.
Paragraph is B.
I am an adult female, age with ID number 9005010359 residing at Moses Kotana Middle Post, working as a domestic worker in Deersville, Restless Wave Street, and my contact number 063-710-3601.
Ek is 'n volwasse dame. Die ouderdom met die geboortedatum van 90-0501-0259-54-081. Lees aan. Nine 03-59-081.
Is it a 9? Is it a 9?
Yes.
Lees aan de Moses Kotana Middle Post en there as his hulp en there as well met die volgende en Restless Street straat
Restless Wave Street.
Restless Way straat. Wave. Restless Wave. Met cellfoonnummer 063 7103 601.
Paragraph. Carry on.
On Monday, the 24th of 2019, at about 1900 hours,
Maandag, 29 van de tweede maand, om 8 uur.
I was at my house
Ik was bij mijn woning.
when I left for work.
Ik heb toen mijn woning verlaten van werk toe.
I left 3 children with the father, Joslin Smith.
Ik heb de 3 kinders achtergelaten met mijn pa, Joslin Smith.
And other children's name, the one that is missing, that was Joslin, ID number 171023129108
Joslin met die ID nummer van 17 1023 1290 1082.
She did not go to school because she was not feeling well.
Zij is niet die dag op school toe, want ze heeft niet lekker gevoeld. Nie.
Paragraph 4.
At about 13:50, I returned back home from work. My boyfriend, Joslin, was not at home.
Zo bij 2:45 was het huis toe. Toen ik bij deze aankom was mijn kerel, Joslin, niet bij huis toe.
I only found 2 children and asked them, where is Joslin?
Ik heb net 2 kinders gevonden en vraag of hulle waar Joslin was.
They said they don't know. I went out to look for her, and their father was also looking for the child.
Ik heb veel uitgesteld die waar ze is. Ik heb wel gaan kijken waar de kind is. De vader gaan kijken waar de kind was.
When I found him, I was driving with the police. We looked from her friends.
Toen ik hem vond, was ik niet naar de politie.
Paragraph 5.
The next page.
Ik wil het leiden.
I, Smith, Raquel Chandel, state under oath in
Ik
English
met Raquel Chandel verklaar nou dit in Engels.
Paragraph 6.
Dat is naar dank.
It's a continuous friend's house.
I've spoken through this statement before. Because if you're going to read it like that, it won't make sense. It starts on the previous page. I found him and I was driving with the police. We looked from her friend's house, and then friends is duplicated on the next page. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense. The sentences would be incomplete.
That is correct. My Lord, I was simply following as it appeared to us. Of course, I can follow it. It would only make sense if you do that. Mr. Bobisi, we can carry on counting the father, last saw the child. We can carry on from there.
Dus al ik dat nu nou toen daar nou gaat toen te doen dan.
The father last saw the child at about 1 o'clock going out to her friend's place, and she was wearing a light blue t-shirt, a light blue jean short, and the black is the push-in shoes.
Die vader het die kind laas keer gesien.
ugqibele ukubona ngubani ehamba nabantu
Die
ehamba
laaste keer het die kind gesien so by een in die geselskap van ander kinders.
ephuma nabanye abantwana enqube ejile
Waar hulle is verlaat het in 'n blou jeans, 'n t-shirt
shirt
en 'n blou
and a pink bush
en pink klappies.
pink bush
I don't see anything there about in die geselskap van ander kinders. It's not there. The way I read it is that obviously we're going to start with the third word because the friend's house is brought over from the previous page. It reads in English, the copy that I have, unless you have a different one.
No, it's the same.
And the father last saw the child at about 1 o'clock, 1300 hours, going out to her friend's place, and she was wearing light blue t-shirt, light blue jean short, and pink push-in shoes. Nothing about other children. So, Mr. Blau, can you just translate that into a
Die pa het die kind vir so ongeveer 1 uur gesien, waar die kind so uitgegaan het, toe naar vrienden se plek.
You must use the microphone, Mr. Blau. I'm
Toe
sorry,
die
it's
vri-
behind your back.
na die vrienden se plek.
For the accused.
I'm running between stuff, that's why I forget now. So by 1 uur het die pa die kind vir laaste keer gesien, waar die kind so uitgaan na vriende se plek, en sy was
wearing
Clear and
sy was gekleed in 'n ligblou t-shirt, 'n ligblou kortbroekie jeans en pink klappies.
that's it. Yeah, that's about a good translation. Right, now you can go to paragraph 7.
Nou, kom ek.
we all went to all people that we think the child plays with
Ons is toe na alle mense toe waar die kind, waar ons dink die kind speel,
but there was no trace of her since I was with the police and they advised me to open an inquiry for missing child.
ons het oral gesoek, maar die kind nie gekry nie. Daarom het hulle toe vir my gevra om,
Advice
en het my toe geadviseer
me to open a case
om navraag te doen in verband met die verhoorde kind.
for a missing child.
Proceed.
Nou, kom ek.
For my daughter, it's the first time she don't come back at home.
Dit was die eerste keer toe my dogter om nie huis te kom nie.
Even if she's playing after school, she goes to Deersville Primary.
Alhoewel sy na skool speel, want sy gaan na Deersville Primêre Skool.
I require police to help me find my child alive.
Ek verwag polisie sy hulp om die kind te kry lewendig. Nou, moet jy ek ook verlies aan.
Kunjalo ke?
That's correct. Madam.
Yes. I can tell you. Obviously, when the copies were made, they would have made copies of the back pages. So it's date stamp at the Community Service Center. It's very legal stamp. You can see from the color of the typical commissioning stamp used by SAPS officials. That's completed, so it says it was done at Saldanha on 2024-02-20 at 01 hours 10. And it's commissioned by Constable Kubese at SAPS Saldanha, and in compliance with the Commissioner Oaths Act, he gives the street address of the police station as Dyers Road, Diaz Road, etc. Yes, Mr. Roman.
Statement that you've just read into the record, did Ms. Smith sign this document?
Lento kubayifunda ngoku ingaba uSmith wayisayina.
Ewe kunjalo my lord.
Yes, she signed.
Did you read it?
Yes, it was taken this month.
Did you read it back to her after you noted it?
Emva kokubhale phansi waphinda wafunda le nto ibhalileyo.
Ewe ndamfundela my lord.
Yes, it was read back to her. Nadat ek dit neergeskryf het, dit terug aan haar gelees.
What did you do after you took the statement?
Emva kokuthatha istatement wenzentoni.
Ndaye ndambuza uba uyayiva nalaa nto ibhaliweyo phaa and ucacele na.
I wanted to know that she understands the contents of the statement. To vraag wat is hier. Verstaan ze de inhoud van die verklaring?
And then?
Wat zie.
Uqhubekile ke wathi uyayi-understanda yonke loo nto. Ndambuza uba ikhona na into anoba nonxa nayo xana ngabe segqibile ukubhala istatement okanye angayivanga kakuhle.
She said she understands the contents of the statement, and I wanted to know from her, is there anything else that you have a problem with, or is there anything else you want to add? Sy het met die gevra sy probeer met die onder van die verklaring, is daar enigszins anders wat jy wil byvoeg, wat jy verstaan?
What was her response?
Waphendula ngethini?
Uye wavuma esithi uya-understanda uyephi umsebenzi wamapolisa.
She said she understands. Sy het ook gesê sy verstaan.
Did she make any changes?
Ingaba ukhona utshintsho lenzileyo?
Alukho emva koba ndiye ndambhalela ndamvulela ityala lakhe.
No, there were no changes made in the statement which I wrote to him, wrote for him. Daar was geen verandering wat anderen wat sy gemaak het in die verklaring wat ek vir haar geskryf het.
After you took down the statement, did you administer the oath as it is on the statement?
Emva kokuba ke uthathele into weya unansi bamfundisa ngohlobo ubhala ngalo phaa.
Ewe kunjalo.
That's correct, my lord.
In fact, you wrote it in.
Wayibhala loo nto yoba ivuma into echaza inyani kuphela phambi kwantoni.
Ndaye ndayibhala phantsi uyivuma ngo-ewe lo hayi.
Yes, my lord, I wrote that down, yes and no. Ek het dit neergeskryf met antwoorde ja en nee.
What did you do with this document after you concluded?
Emva kokuba leyo nto le nto utheni lena sikaqhuba.
Siye sawadibanisa wonke amaxwebhu esiwabhala kunye noconstable Gogota sawafaka kwidocket, then sawubacela ke ngokukheli kunye nesinqandamathe sakhe ubuta bahambe nathi.
After all documents were filled out by myself and Constable Gogota, that was collected together and put into a docket. And we asked them to accompany us. Nadat ons die verklarings en forums ingevul het met Constable Gogota, is alles in mekaar gesit en in 'n dossier geplaas. Ons vra toe hulle ons om saam met ons te gaan.
Yes?
Siqhubekekile ke lo hambo lethu. Xa sebekhwele kwisithuthi samapolisa simcela umama womntana ukheli into bala ngaba sicela aye police station ngomso ngoba uphando alikapheleli.
We carried on in the vehicle and asked the mother or told the mother of the Muslim child that she needs to come and visit the police the next day because we're not finished with the investigation yet. Nadat ons vertrek het, ek vir die ma van die vermisking gevra om de volgende dag naar de politiestatie te komen, want de onderzoek is nog niet voltooid.
Can you describe what your observations of Ms. Smith was at this stage?
Ngeke ithuba ke umjongile uMiss Smith lo muntu olahlele umntana ibonakala kanjani?
My Lord? In middle post, when they concluded the taking of the statement, I want you to describe to the Honourable Court how did Ms. Smith appear to you? Yes, my Lord. Exhibit C, I believe it will be. Certainly.
Cross-examination will be tomorrow. So, Constable, you were taken to the fact that you actually wrote the part of the oath on the statement in your own hand.
Apha ke ukwabuza into yoba njengoba ubele le ndawo yoba uyafunda ukuthetha inyani konke akulandela nayo intsini indawo malunga nomuntu esifungo ubhala ngokusanda sakho.
If you look at page
le ndawo yoba uzafunga konke uzachaza uba ukuchaza inyani awunanani nenyani loo nto ubhala ngesandla sakho.
bottom of
Ewe
page,
kunjani.
Yes, that's correct.
and then there appears two signatures, your own and another signature.
Kwakhona ke indawo kuyo kuzo eyam kusandla esinye. Kwaba kwabantu batyikityayo basayinayo vele sakwisandla somntu.
Kwasayina uKelly kuphela ku-statement endasithatha kuwo.
Yes, my Lord, was signed by you and Kelly.
Now, if you turn the page, and I'm not sure whether your copy has the back page, because apparently councils does not have the back page. The stamps. Would I be correct to infer that these stamps, you don't drive around with them in the car?
Esistem nje masibona manje. Ingaba ndiyabe ngibukela xa sithi andijikelezi emotweni isistem.
Asijikelezi nazo ndiyenzele esikhululweni samapolisa.
Yes, we don't drive around with the stamp. This is being done at the police station.
So when did you place these stamps on the back of page 2? And I want to preface it by saying there's nothing wrong with it because it was properly signed on the other pages. I just want clarity on that.
Ezitambu zibheke nini? Akho nto ngathi nokugwenxa le nto xa friends konke ubheke nini izitambu?
Ndilibeke kanye kanye ngeli xesha ndilibhale kwaphezulu kwistamp ngemizuzu elishumi emva kwentsimbi yokuqala.
On the day, as the time appears on the stamp, my Lord, 1:01.
Was that at the community service center?
Apha emapoliseni.
Ewe kunjalo my lord.
Yes, that's correct.
Now we're done with the statement. You are all still in middle course. So let's just confirm who all was still there, because you've now left the house of Ayanda and Rensha. You've now done the paperwork. Outside there, Neela was there earlier on. Mr. Pollis was there earlier on. Ms. Smith was there, and of course yourself and Constable Goldwater. Because there are some disputes that was raised with the previous witness, so I just want clarity on that.
Indeed. Okay. Mr. Secretary, please explain to the Honourable Court when the statement was being
Noted by yourself, who was present?
Ngelixa kubhala ke esi statement ngubani babekhona.
Ndaluye nogxa wam uConstable Gongota sisecaleni kwemoto, uKelly wayekhona, uBhuta wayekhona, noNilo namanye ke amalungu wokuhlanga.
It was myself, my colleague Constable Gongota next to the vehicle, Kelly, Uta, and Nilo, and some people just standing around, bystanders.
When you concluded taking Ms. Smith's statement? Who was present at that stage?
Ngeli xa ukuba uqedile uthatha statement sakhe ngobani obekhona abanye.
Uthe xa igqibo sayina umntu wayekufutshane naye yayingumlingane wakhe lo ungubhuta.
After the statement was taken and she signed, the person closer to her was Buddha. Nadat sy geteken het met die verklaring, die persoon naaste by die ander was Buddha.
At that stage, can you please describe to the Honorable Court how did Buddha, that's now Joslin Apollos, appear to you?
Ngelo xesha ke uyasayina ukufitshana Buddha. Ingaba yakhe imeko imbonakalo yakhe, bonakala ngumntu onjani, umqaphele nje.
Wayebonakala njengomntu ophantsi koxinizelelo engasafuni kwanto idibanisele nemibuzo yamapolisa emana kuthatha istep ukuya ngasemva nangaphambili ujikelezana nemoto.
He appeared to be someone who was under pressure, refused to listen or give answers to the police. He would walk back in front. Was sy voorkoms gewees, hy was onder druk, of sy voorkoms, hy wou nie weer die polisie se vraag of antwoorde gee nie, hy het agter en uit beweeg.
Whilst you were taking this statement or after?
During the statement by him.
Besendigqibile uthatha statement.
I've already finished taking the statement.
And
while
whilst you were taking the statement, how would you describe, or what were your observations about Joslin Apollos?
Ngeli xa statement, yakhe imeko xa uqaphela njani kaJoslin Apollos.
Ebephantsi koxinizelelo njengathi babesitshilo.
Under pressure, my lord, as I said,
Esoyika nokuphendula imibuzo ebuzwa ngamapolisa.
he was even scared to answer questions asked by the police. Hy was onder druk, hy was ook bang om vrae van die polisie te antwoord.
Thank you, Lord. Now, I just want to make sure what my learned colleague from the state's question was that was answered now. I know there was one question I did which appeared to you and his answer was it appeared to be someone who was under pressure on that part. And then there was a second question after. I'm not sure I understand what the second question was.
The one aspect was, it was reversed. The last one was whilst the statement was being taken from Ms. Smith, and the other one was after the statement was being taken. But she first asked the after and then whilst. So you would have seen when I made my notes, I just drew little arrows to show it was the same. That's my note that I indicated. Good, thank you. I propose, I know it's almost 3 o'clock, I propose that we complete the evidence in chief of this witness. I will do the same as we dealt with Mr. Gongota yesterday, that if you have anything further in the morning, the only difference will be just give your colleagues for the defense the heads up to say that I'm going to deal with further issues that I haven't dealt with yesterday, so that we don't need to adjourn unnecessarily.
Indeed.
Good.
Mr. Kapisa, I asked about
What your observations of Mr. Apollos was can you please tell us what your observations of Ms. Smith were whilst you were taking the statement?
Ndukubuzile mhlekazi wami xa umqaphela ke umhlekazi savumunasa Mr. Police wacacisa yena lebonana konjani ngethi xa uthatha statement ke ku-Miss Nansika Smith iyakhe imeko esithile beqapheleka njani konjani leyo ngibonakala yakhe
ebebonakala njengomntu okhalma ofuna ukunikeza iinkcukacha ngokupheleleyo kodwa uloyiko wayebonalo ezinye iimpendulo ezithandabuza xa sibuza zona.
She appears as the witness says calm, willingness to give us whatever answer we ask from her, ask her questions. But at some point, she appeared to be a little bit hesitant when I ask her certain questions. Said, kalm voorgekom, sê wel, sommige werk in geef, maar op een zekere stadium is het heel erg voorgekomen als die vragen gevraagd worden.
Please expand on that, Mr. Gubisa. When did she become hesitant?
Hapo nataka kuza kuona bekunini
Kule xesha ndisaxakekile ndithatha istatement sakhe kunabantu ebemane bemphazamisa bembuza imibuzo funeka ndinqande bona ndiphinde ndiqhubekeke nokheli nestatement sakhe.
when he was recording the statement, my lord, they were amongst the bystanders posing questions to her, which I had to stop them from doing. Die tijd die bezig was om verklaring te laten nemen, die bijstanders het gewoon dan van vragen gevraagd, dat ik moet dan stoppen ze het om dit te doen.
Your evidence was that she hesitated. What was the hesitation about?
Uthi ke wena ebethandabuza kuthandabuza ngantoni, loo nto ngingakuthandabuza okanye ngathandabuza ntoni.
Kwiinkcukacha asinike zona noxinizelelo aye walufumana kubantu bokuhlala bembuza imibuzo ndimane ndibanqanda befika nezimvo ngezimvo zoba ayiwanda uba umntana usaphila na.
The questions which the statement which she gave to me, and the questions posed by the people which put her under pressure. Questions, for example, which says from the bystanders, I wonder is the child still alive? That made it to be hesitant. Studie van bystanders van vraag en gedurende die verklaring als er van een vraag gevraagd van of het kind nog levendig is, dat het hele.
So it wasn't from questions posed by yourself, it was from people that were standing around.
Ukuthandabuza oku abangalanga imibuzo suka kuwe, imibuzo suka ebantwini.
Kunjalo mhlekazi.
Yes, that's correct, my lord.
And it's because of her hesitation, if I understand your evidence correctly, that is when you then stop the bystanders from interfering.
Njengoba ethandabuza ke baba ungona ngemela abantu bamexela mabayeke.
Ndandicela uba mandibanqande.
That's correct, my lord. Ja, to say even what the document based on us to stop om nie te praten.
And how would you describe, or what were your observations of her after you concluded the statement?
Emva kokumbele usithathe istatement esi, imeko yakhe ithini, imbonakalo yakhe njani.
Noko amaphaphu akhe ayesehlile ekwazi nokuthetha kakuhle.
She was calm, she could speak now properly. Sy was kalmeer, sy kon nou denke praat.
And earlier, I think we took you back, but at some point you indicated that at that stage you decided to take her away from there. Is that correct? She and Mr. Paulus. Sorry.
Uthi ke banibheka kuhle ethubeni elithile ke wemkanaye Mr. Police endaweni kuyo.
Kunjalo my lord, kodwa kwaphuthana emveleni sasijikeleza nje imoto.
Yes, not away properly, just towards the van, around the van. Nee, they rest of the minute, nabi bifangba.
And after you concluded this now, the statement's done, you've got your documents, what happened next?
Emva kokuba ke istatement usithathile, amaxwebhu onke ngofumene aqokelelekile, kwenzeke ntoni emva koko?
Saye sambuza uKelly uba ucinga into yoba angalala nakule ndlu yakhe phantsi kwemeko akuyo, uthe akanolunga. So sacela ke into yoba kule nto besethile no-anti wakhe wase-Restless Wave, ucela siyombeka khona.
Then we inquired from Kelly, will you be in a position and sleep in the house under the circumstances? She said no, she preferred to sleep at her auntie's house at Restless Wave. Ek het iemand gevra na dit of sy gewillig was of was sy sê na huis slaap. Sy het gesê nee, sy sal weer aan sy slaap in Restless Wave.
When you say under the circumstances, what do you mean?
That xesha siqhubekeka besibhala istatement sakhe, uhlobo abantu babemkhwaza ngalo kwakungekho themba lonto yoba ngaba angalala kakuhle bazokuqoqozela ubusuku bonke.
Whilst we were speaking to taking the statement, people were screaming at her. And then we concluded she won't be able to sleep in that house. Toe ons besig was om 'n verklaring te neem, mense het na geskree. Ons besluit toe sy sal nie in toestand wees om in die stad te slaap.
Proceed.
Siye senza njalo ke ukumthatha wakhwela emotweni, sabuza ubhuta uba ulungile na yena uba uzawuhlala kule ndawo. Ucelile ke naye into yoba masimse kumzali wakhe oseMasdam Street, sabashiya ke kwezo delays zombini, sibashiya nomyalelo into yobana ngomso sicela baze police station.
After that, we took her, we put her also, who requested us to take him to his mother's house there with sleep over and take him to the address which he gave us. And then when we dropped them off, my lord, we gave them an order that if they need to come to the police station the next morning. Nadat alles toe gebeur het, was albei toe verdwyder Boeta na sy ouer huis en Kelly na haar auntie, maar ons het later bevel dat hulle die volgende dag in die polistasie moet ingaan.
Next day or next morning?
The
next morning.
What did you do after you dropped them off?
Siye senje njeya ukubuyela esikolweni seSaldanha, kulapho ke saye zama indlela into yoba masiripota sifonela u-FCS sibaxelela into yoba idokethi silivulile, ne-OBA 3 sayenza, samxelela nomphathi wesitishi uba besinengxaki efana nokulahlwa komntana.
On arrival, we went to police station Saldanha. We arrived there, then we called FCS, explained to them that we opened a case of a missing child. We did some entries in the OB about the incident and even informed the person in charge of the station.
Who was that?
Station commander waseSaldanha, Lieutenant Colonel Sebola.
It was Lieutenant Sebola. Hy sê hulle toe FCS geskakel, meegedeel oor hulle dat hulle besig was aan en in die occurrence boek het hulle geskryf en dit het oor die staatsbevelvoerder Luitenant Sebola van hulle se werk en geluk.
Did you remain on duty for the rest of that early hours of that morning?
Nahlala emsebenzini ngatsasa ixesha liphele.
Ewe kunjalo my lord.
Yes, that's correct.
Did you have anything further to do with this incident after what you've just told us?
Emva kokuba wenze yonke into osichazela namhlanje, ibe khona into obanoyenza manonetshana.
Hayi, akukho nto esizaphinda sayenza ngawo laa suku saye satshayisa ekuseni kuba sasawuphinde sisebenze ebusuku olulandelayo.
Nothing was done by us after that, my lord, because after our shift we were going to work the same night again, night shift. Nadat ons korso klaar gemaakt had, die ochtend so ons nie weer bezig was met die zaken, dan ons so nachts beginnen.
In fact, after this incident, you didn't make a statement immediately afterwards, isn't that correct?
Emva kwesisenzeko, akho statement wasenzayo kanye ngemva kwalento.
I-OP esayenzayo then emva koko ndabhala ke ngoku esam i-statement uba kwenzeka ntoni ngoba busuku.
The OB was in the entry, the OB. And entry was done in the OB, and then I made a statement as to what my role was.
In the OB.
What OB? In the OB.
Thank you, my lord. I'm not sure if we have more. I'm sorry, my lord. I will have the witness. I'll have. Oh, thank you. Thank you, my lord. As the court pleases. My lord, I'm not sure if I have asked the Honourable Court to enter this as an exhibit. Thank you, my lord. That is all I have for the witness. Thank you, my lord. I have nothing further.
Constable, you will unfortunately have to come back tomorrow. So we're going to resume at 9 o'clock.
Tuvumelana nawe my lord.
We have not started your cross-examination. So if you want to speak to the prosecutors, you may do so. Please ensure that you don't leave before they come out of court. They might want you to bring stuff with tomorrow or things like that so that we don't waste time tomorrow. Can we get a microphone to Ms. Kabai, please? I just want to hear whether she's going to proceed with that application of yesterday afternoon.
Good day, my lord. Kabali, from our parents on behalf of Civil and Rain, the wishes to abandon our office as the court pleases.
Thank you. So, Mr. Harrison.
Well, my friend, I trust you to make a if it was A, that misinterpreted information, B was the one from longer, and C is now is the statement by Mr. Thank you.
We will, as we go along, it's still early days. My registrar will keep a record, and then we prepare a sheet with the exhibits and the numbers and the description thereof, and we will share it with the parties as we go along. I will keep the original documentary evidence in a separate file, and there will be a sleeve on the inside with an index, which will then be available to the parties. I'm aware that my registrar assisted you for counsel today with the 115, so we can try and sort it out tomorrow during the course of the day when we have a spot so that we have it on record. allegations, etc. I'm not going to push you. We're going along with the evidence, but so that we get them in. So the matter is then postponed till tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We're going to start at 9, which is an hour earlier than what the High Court customarily start at. Same place. Mr. Apollos, Mr. Van Rijn, you will be detained at Malmesbury Correctional Center. Ms. Smith, you will be going back to Langebaan SAPS. I just want to mention one last thing. My registrar brought it to my attention, Mr. Sidner, the issue you raised with your client accepting items from members of the family, and that the police didn't want to allow. I don't want to interfere in that relationship unless I have to make an order. And similarly, as I've explained to Mr. Kabai yesterday, without all the information, I'm hesitant to make rulings that are binding on people that are in their lane. I must stay in my lane. The moment I postpone a matter, an unsentenced individual is they're placed in the hands of the police to escort them to the place of detention and back to court. There are certain standing orders. There are all sorts of issues to be taken into account. And this applies to the other two gentlemen as well, because you held in Malmesbury, your family might be here. We have a constant issue with that in the High Court in Cape Town, where people want to bring food, they want to bring clothes, and as the presiding judge, you have to remain impartial as a starting point, but also we don't have all the facts and the circumstances available. I would suggest counsel speak to the SAPS official in charge, find out what the situation is. If an arrangement is made, an arrangement is made. I will only be willing to entertain those type of requests as a last resort, and when it impacts on the fairness of the trial. I thought I'll say it here in open court, on record, because it doesn't help for me to explain to counsel in chambers, because often you have to face family members and members of the public, and you say that I can't because this, so that they know it's not necessarily counsel that doesn't want to cooperate. It's far more complex than that. Thank you. I shall see you in the morning then. Court adjourned.
Statements that lambda.